Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey, and in this video we're going to cover the setup for a 2D scene. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start this from scratch. This is the Unity 2018 new project window. I'm going to name this project My New Game, and I'm going to use the 2D template. Everything else is fine, so let's click Create Project. Okay, so the project has been created and here's my empty scene. This is our hierarchy and this is our project folder. It starts off with a scenes folder and a sample scene inside it. On our sample scene, we have a main camera displaying a simple solid color. As you can see, the projection is set to orthographic, which means it's rendering in 2D. It has an orthographic size of 5 units. This size represents the units that are visible vertically. So let's create an empty game object just to see. So here on this object Y, you can see that the camera is displaying vertically from -5 to +5. For the horizontal size, it's going to depend on your resolution. Currently, I'm using 16:9, but if you change this, you can see the camera view change accordingly. Alright, so that's the basic setup for the camera. Let's test just to make sure that everything is working. So, yep, there you go. The camera is displaying a simple solid color. Now let's set it up for our 2D game. First, let's rename this scene to give it a more appropriate name. So let's name it Game Scene. This is a scene where most of the game runs. You would have a different scene for the main menu, maybe another for the level select, and so on. Let's grab our empty game object, place it on 0, 0, and rename it to Game Handler. This will be the main container for all of our preset scene objects. The better you keep your objects organized, the easier it is to find what you're looking for. Let's drag our camera into our game handler. And just for testing, let's make a background. So new game object, name it background. Let's add a component of type sprite renderer, which is the primary component for displaying sprites in a 2D game. Now we need a sprite to render, so let's create a new folder and we're going to name it textures. Inside, I'm going to place an image, which is just a white pixel. It's a 1x1 PNG. It's very useful to have a simple white pixel texture for when you want to display a solid color in a sprite renderer, since as you can see, if you don't assign a sprite, you can't really see anything. On the import options, everything is mostly the defaults except for the pixels per unit, which we're going to set to 1. Since the texture is 1x1, when we use this as a sprite renderer, it will occupy 1 unit. So let's drag our sprite into our background. As you can see, a square of 1x1. And in the sprite renderer, we have a color parameter. It acts as a multiply, so since our sprite is white, we can easily tint it. Let's tint it green to simulate some sort of grass texture. And increase the size just to occupy our camera. So as you can see, the camera is correctly displaying our 2D background sprite. So another thing that is useful in pre-standard is to have sorting layers. On the sprite renderer, you can see the sorting layer in here, and we can add a new sorting layer. Right now we only have the default, so let's add another one and name it background. And let's add another one and name it game objects. The render order in here goes from top to bottom, so let's drag the background on top. Being on the top of this array essentially means the background gets rendered first, then the default gets rendered on top of the background, then the game objects on top of the default. So in our background, let's put it on the background sorting layer and let's duplicate it. Name it something like player, give it a different color, and let's place it on the game objects. So as you can see, regardless of what we set on the order in layer, the player will always be on top of the background since it is on a sorting layer above the background. Alright, now normally in my scenes I have a helper pointer object just to help me identify positions in the game. Make a new game object and let's name it pointer. And if we go up here, we can give our pointer an icon, which will make it very visible in the scene view and in the game view if you're showing gizmos. So let's click it, and as you can see, it shows up in there. And you can move it around to easily read that this position is on 4.4 and 2.6. And if you go into the game scene and enable gizmos, you can also see it while the game is running. So anytime you want to locate a position on screen, just grab this object and move it around, and it's quite helpful, especially when you use it while the game is paused. Okay, now let's make our game handler script. This will be the main script in our game. Make a new folder and let's call it scripts. Inside, let's make a create C# script and name it game handler. So inside, let's make a private void start and a private void update. On our start, let's simply do a debug.log gamehandler.start just to make sure that our script is running. So let's go into our scene and we're going to drag that script into our gamehandler object. So let's run the scene and we should see the script running in our console in here. Yep, there you go, the game is running and you can see gamehandler.start. Alright, so now to make things much easier, we're going to add the CodeMonkey utilities, which you can grab for free from unitycodemonkey.com. These utilities contain a bunch of helper functions and classes that I have written over the years that help immensely when making a game and testing new mechanics. The utilities contain plenty of comments, so feel free to go through all the classes and view all the functionality. Alright, so the utilities come as a Unity package. To add, just double-click that file and it will open this window in Unity. In here you can view the list of files that will be added to our project. Let's click import and the files will be added. So as you can see, a new folder appeared in here and inside are all the files for all of our utilities. So now we can go back into our game handler and in here let's test to make sure the utilities were correctly installed. The utilities contain several namespaces. So first we need to go up here and write using CodeMonkey and also using CodeMonkey.utils. So on start in here, let's create a function periodic which triggers an action every certain amount of time. So a function periodic, and we're going to create, and here it takes an action and a timer. So for the action, let's go into the CMDebug class and spawn a text object on the mouse position. So use the text popup mouse, which is a helper function that spawns a text object on the mouse position. In here, let's just write something. And in here you have the time. So essentially every half a second, this action will execute. This action will spawn a pop-up on the mouse position. It will say ding and then a number which will increase every time this action is called. Alright, so let's test and we should see the message pop up on the mouse position. Okay, yep, there you go. You can see the text pop up on the mouse position every half a second. So that means the utilities are correctly installed. This will be very useful while making our game. Personally, I use the text pop up all the time when I want to visualize an event while the game is running. Feel free to check out the code for the utilities and see all the various helper functions and how they can help you get your game up and running faster. So there you have it. We started with an empty scene and set it up to build a 2D game. We also installed the CodeMonkey utilities, which will help us in developing and debugging our game. If you have any questions, post them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you next time.